All right, I think we're live here. And how's it going, guys? As always, let us know where you're watching from if you can hear us. Today, we're talking about what we would do different if we started over with horses and mules. So, first off, drop some questions in the chat if you have them. Thank you for being here. We already have some good questions coming in. A lot of talk about the weather. It looks like it's cold in the south right now, real cold. Before we get in, while people are kind of getting logged on and stuff, we're a little early. I wanted to say we are hoping to eventually do these outside with the herd more. The goal is not to just sit in here and just the two of us be talking, but to actually take you guys along with, some of our feeding routines or training routines, stuff like that. But the days are short right now, and we are just constantly busy. Today, Alyssa was in a sprint to the finish on a TS Mules YouTube channel video. And so she was getting after it, and we were like, well, let's just keep working on that, and we'll get as much done as we can. So that'll be a cool video out on the TS Mules channel on Saturday.
Yep.
About a cow working mulemanship clinic in Gunnison, Colorado. So she didn't quite get done, but she got she got a lot closer to the finish line.
Yep.
So worth it. But I want to say, someone said it looks like Idaho is the warm spot right now. And I wanted to say it was 2 degrees when we got up and went to the gym this morning. So our part of Idaho is a little chilly. Also, you can unplug it. We got a giant storage drive on the table that the computer's on. It's vibrating like crazy. So sorry if there's weird audio right now.
Can I reach it?
Get it, babe. You want me to get it?
Got it.
Got it. All right. No more weird vibrating noise. Okay. So let's see here. Let's jump right into a question so that I don't forget. Someone had a question from like 45 minutes before the live even started. And it was Susan McKay says, how do you train mules to be hobbled? Is there a process? So you can dive into that. And then I'll start reading questions off of here. Thank you guys all for being here.
Yeah.
We're getting to where we really enjoy these.
I'll explain our process. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, I'm sure. But the first thing I do is I want to get them leading by a foot with a rope. So I want to teach them to follow that follow that pressure and not panic with things around their feet. And then once I've done that, you can take, and this is just a soft cotton rope, or I use like a yacht rope, but then you can take it, wrap it around one foot, put a couple twists in it, put it around the other foot, put a couple twists in it, and you can just hold that. Even if they were to, step around a little bit, you can hold that pretty easy, but you can also just let go of it and it'll come undone. So that's a good way to like hobble them. You're in there with them, you're holding them. You can kind of get them to move forward and feel that and make sure they're not going to panic. And then I would put hobbles on at home in a safe spot. So if you have a nice soft sandy area like around corral or an arena or something, have a halter on them with a lead, put the hobbles on them, and just make sure that they feel those and that they're not going to panic, but you're there to help them out in case they do. So just take it one step at a time and make sure you put them on at home and spend some time with them on at home before you get up in the mountains. Don't just go up in the mountains and then stick hobbles on. That's a wreck waiting to happen. So
yeah. They are a great tool, though. I'll just add one short thing real quick. I was at a Buck Brannaman clinic in Rapid City, South Dakota about 10 years ago now. And he had one of his big, beautiful bridle horses. Well, it was a snaffle bit horse, but future bridle horses with him at that clinic. And he had it hobbled in the middle of the arena. And he was just standing on foot and talking to people. And that horse would kind of start to fall asleep. And Buck would like toss a rock at it, flick a rock at it. It would hit it in the butt and it would wake up and start and then notice that it was, hobbled. And he was just doing that so that if they're ever, out in the hills and they get startled and hobbled in hobbles, they won't overreact. So it was like a controlled environment for them to get startled when they're snoozing in their hobbles. But at the time, I was just kind of started. I was like, geez, that seems kind of mean, but he's just setting them up for success in the future. So getting them started in a controlled environment is super important. So, all right, let's see. What else do we got here? DWSRS24 says, your title is a good one. Anything you would do differently if you were just starting with horses and mules? Do you have something off the top of your head, or do you want me to go first?
If I was starting like completely over and the goal was to ride the mountains and just have fun, I would probably, like, thinking back now, like if I didn't have any training experience, anything like that, I would save up my money. I would go to a reputable source and really take a lot of time and care to find a really good horse or mule, whatever you're into. That was probably, anywhere from 6 to 12 years old, maybe a little older for a mule even, and just get something that's really going to be safe for you. And that's kind of the main thing, healthy and safe, and just take your time and be patient and find something really good, because it takes so many years and so many miles to make a really good one, that if you're just starting out, that's what I would do. And I would invest in going to more clinics from the beginning, or find a mentor from the beginning, find someone that you can learn from. That would definitely speed up the process, because we've learned things over the years and we've done stuff, but it would be way faster to, one, have a horse or a mule that's ready to go, ready to learn, and two, have a mentor that you can, contact or whatever, or go to a clinic and figure out what you're doing wrong to get along with that horse or mule. So that would probably be my two things.
I love it. And if you find a good mentor, or someone like Ty, where you can go to their clinics up front, then you don't have to unlearn a bunch of bad habits, and you can just start fresh and do it right from the start. So that was a good tip.
You and your equine don't have to unlearn a bunch of bad habits.
Yeah, because it's hard for them. They're like, what the heck? We've been doing this certain way this whole time, and now you want me to do something different?
Every time I root my nose, you give me some slack in the reins, and now you want me to soften? I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Okay, next question is, well, first off, before we get in here, a lot of people are having ice. Some people are snowed in. So I hope you guys are safe and warm, first of all. I know that was quite a storm heading to the south there. Yeah. So hopefully everyone is safe and warm. And if you're watching YouTube, you probably have power. So I'm thankful for that. Yeah. So stay safe down there. Don't be driving. And if you do have to drive, watch out for other people. It's you can be going slow and safe, and someone else not paying attention and goes sliding around. So stay safe down there, guys. I love seeing all the hearts come in when people hit the little heart thing. It just it shoots up the screen over here. It's fun. Also distracting for me. But okay, next question is, someone says, how is Taz doing?
He's doing good.
Yeah.
Man, he's really put on a lot of weight, and we have him on his ulcer beds and ulcer feed through, and I hadn't really noticed that he didn't have an appetite before, but the first time we gave him all of this stuff, his little concoction that he gets, he probably took an hour, maybe even longer.
Yeah, like an hour and a half probably
to eat it, and part of it was probably because it tasted a little different and stuff like that. But now, I mean, he'll eat that in 10 minutes. He just downs it. So he seems like he's feeling really good. Health-wise, he's put on a ton of weight. He's looking really good, and we've been hauling him to the arena and working on some stuff, because it's a little bit nicer than a round crawl. Our round crawl is still a little bit iced up, and it's a little bigger area, so we can work on some stuff there. But yeah, we've there's some interesting things with Taz, and so we're working on that. But I think we're heading in the right direction, so we'll just keep working on that. And we'll give you guys an update, but we'd like it to be Taz is just going to take a long time. It's just going to be a lot of little steps, little tiny baby steps for him. And so we'll do an update when there's kind of been a decent progression, but it's kind of boring in the middle there, where it's just little steps at a time. So
it's not boring to us when you can feel it. It would just be boring to show it on our channel. It would be very monotonous.
Yeah.
So it's but when you can feel it, it's actually really encouraging. You're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna make it. He's moving the right direction. Yeah. It's super encouraging. But so we'll just show when there's actual good visible changes that'll be noticeable to folks.
Yeah.
Oh, someone says they canceled work. So hey, that's good. Snow and ice is good for something. All right. Oh, another thing real quick. If you guys do have a question, it helps me a lot when I'm reading the little chat thing. If you put a question mark at the start of it so that I can, like, my eyes can be drawn to it. Otherwise, I get way behind and
especially if you know how to use emojis and you could put one of those big giant red question marks. That really helps out a ton.
Make it easy on me.
Yeah. But if you can't, then put like a few question marks. Do a little line of question marks first.
Yeah, and I apologize for the ones I miss. I miss some on every video. That's why we're trying to do these every week. Okay, next question. Do you prefer to buy mules at auctions or through private sales?
Well, I don't think we've ever actually bought a mule on an auction.
No, there's only really one that I recommend a lot. One auction, and that's Chrome in the Canyon down at Bryce Canyon Mule Days. So
yeah,
that one, I won't get too deep into the process, but you know exactly what you're getting when you buy from that reputable sale, because they show you, they have a try before you buy. You can actually ride the mule that you're thinking of bidding on. It's like maybe a 3-day event. There's like 2 full days of things leading up to the sale or something like that.
And
they have them vet checked. Yeah. They check them for age. So anyways, a lot of auctions are kind of sketchy, but Chrome in the Canyon down there in Utah is it has a good reputation. I was there last year. And it's awesome. But yeah, we'll
tell you 2 horror stories I can think of from auctions. I won't say what auction it's from, but one of them was, there was this little mule colt. He was probably 4 years old, I think, is what they said. He was really cute. He ended up being much smaller in person for us. We didn't end up bidding on him, but we were walking by his little pen, and I was like, he seems like he might be drugged, right? Like, it's a common thing to give equine sedatives. You have to be really careful because people will give them sedatives to run them through the auction and make them seem like they're calm. And he just seemed off. Like, when he was eating, something wasn't right. And so anyway, it turns out the next day they brought him in and his whole mouth was swelled up. Like, his whole lip was swelled up. The poor guy couldn't even hardly drink water or eat. And he had an allergic reaction to the sedatives. And so those sellers actually had to tell the auction that, well, it's just an allergic reaction to the sedatives, and that swelling will go down. So it kind of bit him in the butt. And so it was they had to admit it, but otherwise they would have just sold him,
sedated.
Sedated. And he wouldn't, and he was really touchy. So that one was bad. And then another one was, we watched a 19-year-old mule come through an auction, and she could have tarps all over her and kids and stuff like that. But she was so lame. She could hardly walk. And finally someone in the audience was like, walk her around, yells this. And so the kids kind of walk around a little bit. And I mean, she's dead lame, head bob, hardly can move. She sold for $19,000 to an online bidder. So someone who wasn't able to see her in person. And I mean, that mule could hardly walk. And so she sold for $19,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, you really have to be careful, really careful.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you kind of sick to see that. It's just some people just aren't honest. You like to think that, that everyone is honest and has good intentions, but it's not the case.
So that's part of the reason why our price is so low bidding, especially online, because it's okay, how much money are we okay with? We may never get that back, right? It could be that mule could have a serious problem, whatever. Also, you have to think about shipping. Transporting livestock, getting them shipped is very expensive. And so that's going to add for us probably a couple grand on top of whatever price that mule would have went for. So that's part of the reason why our number was so low for that mule.
Yeah. Super good question, Susan. And real quick, we've had 2 people since we started this join our membership, which we really appreciate.
Thank you guys.
Thank you to West Virginia Mountain Man and Melissa Rorden, I think. So thank you guys. We appreciate that. That's awesome. I won't get into it too much, but our membership is basically, we just do some more lives. We do Thankful Thursday, which we just started last week, and we just hang out with our members with the mules and stuff like that. So.
And sometimes we share full sessions. If we cut it up for our public videos, we'll just drop the whole session on the members. But mostly we started the membership just because people were I don't know a way to support you guys. And so we started the membership. So it's just for people if they want to do extra support, that's great. For all of you that like watch our YouTube channel, you guys are awesome. We appreciate all of you. So
heck yeah. Yeah, we do. This is amazing. There's 167 people watching right now. It's so fun.
I'm glad I can't see your faces because I wouldn't be able to talk.
Yeah, then we'd have to picture you naked.
That never helps either.
Thank goodness we don't have to do that. All right. Well, having said that now, this person is called 94 Mandy Dallas. It says, I'm new to y'all. I saw the title and set my alarm. Can't wait to binge your channel. Well, thank you for being here. We are weird sometimes, but we love our horses and mules, and we feel super blessed to live this lifestyle. So specifically, ask us any questions you have and put a question mark at the start so I don't miss it. But thank you for being here. Hey, Cray, Mississippi. Oh, no, I lost it.
Oh, right there.
Oh, it says, are horse whisperers a real thing? Great question, Cray.
Well, I mean, there's not anyone that's actually like whispering to horses and, and like, hey, I need you to do this. And then the horse does it. Like, that's not a real thing. But there are people that are so good with horses and they get them, like the finesse is so fine that you can't see them like move their heel or lift a rein. And so it really looks like they're like whispering to horses, right? Because it's just so flawless. It's really, really amazing to watch.
You get to where you're going off of a feel. And that's what most good horsemen really strive toward. It's just going off that feel where you and your horse or mule are just going together kind of as one. So that's what it comes from. Yeah. Great question, Cray. All right. Another question. I have a yearling quarter horse. Any advice for groundwork or just stuff to do with him? By the way, hello from South Dakota. If you've been watching, you know we love South Dakota. We're excited to go back. So thanks for being here.
Man, like anything and everything. But really the main thing is like if you can be consistent with your baby and just go out there and spend 5-10 minutes a day, go halter it, brush it, pick up all 4 feet. If you feel comfortable tying it or use a blocker or a piece of twine in case they step back or whatever, but teach it how to tie and stand patiently and have some patience. But like just that kind of stuff, just getting your hands on them every day and setting some firm boundaries, as far as like them being pushy and stuff, that's going to really like set you ahead down the road for sure. So, and then if you can think of anything like tarps and all that kind of stuff, like all that's great. Just get them used to, walking over that stuff or putting it on their back and taking your time with that. I think that makes really solid horses. So.
Before I forget, Robert Pooler says another good one is the Jake Clark mule cell. And yeah, that one does have a good reputation. I heard Jake's handing it over to his son. Yeah. We've never been to it, but it has a great reputation. They sell some high dollar mules. I think they do a similar vetting process to Chrome and the Canyon. But yeah, thank you, Robert, for reminding me about Jake Clark, because that is another good one. I actually have a video that I made on this channel a while back, and it's called something like Buying a Mule, Watch This First, or something like that. So if you're really interested in buying a mule, I think that's the title, and it might be worth watching because on there I actually had time to like sit down and think out what I was going to say. So another question with a big red question mark. Thanks, Big Tex Vet, for helping me out. It says, is there a trainer near Magic Valley you would recommend? We recently got 2 gelding quarter horses that haven't been ridden in over 10 years. They're 18 and 16 years old. I don't know where the Magic Valley is. Is that by Boise, Idaho?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Treasure. I don't know.
That might be Treasure Valley.
Maybe it's Fairfield. Is Fairfield Magic Valley?
I don't know. Maybe drop it in there. But actually, regardless, I don't know of any. So it doesn't really matter. You don't even have to clear it up because we don't know a lot of trainers.
I've only used one trainer in my whole life to train a horse. I've trained all the others myself, and it was a horrible experience. It was absolutely awful. So I don't have anyone I'd recommend. I'm sorry.
What I'll tell you on our not sponsored by TS Mules, but kind of is a good option would maybe be to go to tsmules.com, look at his clinic schedule, and take him to a foundations class. Yeah. That's just groundwork. Yeah. That would be a great place to start. So next question.
And Ty, like, I don't know how much you want to spend or whatever, but Ty does do a masterclass where an option on there is to do like coaching where you can send him videos and he'll watch them and help you out and stuff like that. So if you feel like you're up for it yourself, just don't really know how to do it, that's an option too, because you basically can I don't know how you communicate with Ty, but he's like open for you to send him videos and texts or whatever and stuff like that. And he'll like walk you through it, him personally. He spends a ton of time with his coaching students. So that's another option too you can look into.
Jesse Baisden says, I feel intimidated about the buying process here in Ohio. Auction seems to be the main option here, or I'm just too new to the process. Worried about being taken advantage of when the time comes.
Yeah, that's definitely something to be, aware of for sure. There's a lot of shady things people can do at auctions, and a lot of sellers are honest, but a lot of them are not. And yeah, so you do have to be careful. I mean, horses and mules are like hopped up on pavement so that they're not limping. They're like we talked about.
But as far as a
sedated
solution, though,
a solution, well, I was getting to that, but yeah, a solution would be like you need to find someone in the area that's trustworthy, that knows, that maybe has bought and sold or just bought or whatever, and to go with you to the auction if that's the only option, and really help you out. Someone who's been through the ringer as far as that goes, because there's a lot of things to look out for at auctions.
I didn't want you to. The reason I interrupted you is because I didn't want you to scare her. She already said she was scared. There's so much to be nervous about, but at some point you just need to maybe find a mentor to go with you, and then do your best and just go for it.
Yeah. Yep. And if you can find a private seller, like I think you guys probably have a lot of Amish, and there's a lot of Amish people that are really good horsemen. I don't know why our dogs are barking.
Maybe we got a delivery.
That are really good horsemen and do take really good care of their equines. And so if you can find one that's reputable and just go through them with a private sale, I would definitely get a vet check if you can.
Yep.
So.
Do you want to go check on the dogs? Hey, can you guys hear the dogs on there? Hit the heart if you cannot hear the dogs barking, and then we'll just ignore them. Let's see.
You're good.
Another question. Good point though, Jesse. While I'm looking for another question, that's something. Actually, I'll add a little bit to that. I got distracted by the dogs, but when we went down and got Riata, my beloved mule, who's my best bud, we have a little experience, and still going home, we were like, when we bought her, obviously, and going home, we were like, oh gosh, I hope I didn't make a mistake. Like, this could be really rough. But we thought we had the tools necessary to figure it out. But anyway, all that just to say, it is kind of nerve-wracking, and you just do the best you can, and hopefully use the resources that you have around you, and pray that you get a healthy one.
Yeah.
All right, question. I'm buying a barn for me and my girlfriend with our 5 horses. What would you recommend? Like, how big? And congratulations. That's awesome. That's super exciting. A barn for him and his girlfriend with their 5 horses. What size?
Well, it depends. I guess it depends on what you want in your barn. Like if you're wanting stalls, or if you're wanting just a nice covered shelter, or if, arena or tack room or whatever. So, but stall wise, a standard stall is 12 by 12. But I always think if you can make them a little bit bigger, that's better. Like 12 by 12 is really pretty small for a horse, in my opinion. Like, so if you can make it a little bit bigger, that's better. If it's a big open space, you don't have to account for 12 by 12 for every horse, because they'll stand together. I don't know your weather, but usually if it's 3-sided, then try to think about which way the wind's coming from or the storms are coming from, and face it there for them. Or if you have really hot summers, then think about which way the sun's coming in the summertime and try to make sure they get some shade there. But yeah, it's always nice to have like a 12-foot alleyway if you're going to put an alleyway in. The wider the better, usually, especially if you're taking horses, past each other. That's always kind of nice to have a bigger alleyway. So I guess go a little bigger than what you think, and you'll probably be happy you did. So.
Yep. I wish we had a barn, but honestly, even if we had a barn, our mules and horses would probably spend most of the time outside, and I think that's best for them. So if they have a good amount of space outside, and then they can also escape bad weather or hot weather or whatever, that would be perfect.
I had stalls as a kid, but I lived in Western Oregon where it was so rainy, and so I mean, you had to have something for them to get in and get dry, because they get cold and they'd start shivering and stuff. And even blankets, like even really good blankets, sometimes just don't fend off the rain there.
I'm getting way behind on these guys. I apologize. Next question from Frosted Nostrils. Great name. Says, given your financial and emotional investment in the herd, do you pack anti-venom and utilize shin guards on the lower legs when riding in snake-prone wilderness? Nope. So I guess they don't really make shin guards for horses. They do have like little, splint boots? Is that what those things are called? But
I don't think they make like snake boots.
Where horses usually get bit is on the nose, and it's usually when they're just out on pasture or whatever. They'll like sniff a rattlesnake out in the grass, and in general, if they get bit on the nose, it'll swell up, and as long as it doesn't close the airway, it'll be fine. But we were actually just talking about this literally a couple days ago. And some horses can have a reaction to the venom, and it will just stop their heart. And there's really not any anti-venom that would help with that. It's just an unfortunate reaction, like some people are with bee stings. But generally, they just kind of process the venom and then they recover from it. Good question, though.
My 4-H horse as a kid, she was down in Arizona as a colt being pastured down there, and she got bit on the nose, but it was on the bridge of the nose by a rattlesnake. This was before we bought her, but she had a scar from it, but she was fine. They didn't even do anything for her. She was just out in the pasture. But thankfully it was far enough up on the bridge of her nose that her nose didn't end up sewing shut, and she just recovered from it. So it's pretty impressive. I worry about the dogs, though. I really do worry about the dogs. So sometimes when it's really hot and we know that there's snakes out, we just don't bring the dogs, because I think, that would be real bad for them.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question on topic real quick, and then we'll get back to the live questions on here. So this is back to if we were starting over with horses and mules. What type of equine would you start with today, and why? Like if you had to choose one.
If I'm just being myself and right here. And we had to, for some reason, get rid of our whole herd and then get a new one.
Well, geez, that's sad. Don't. We'll just pretend like we're starting over.
Knowing what I know, I would probably get I almost think I would get a Mustang. One, because mules right now are crazy expensive for like a really good mule. And so I think for me, I'd be better off getting a Mustang than a mule, if that makes sense. Mules are just really high. It's been that way for quite a few years now, and so it's tough to find mules for a decent price.
Yep, and a bad mule, quote unquote, that's been mistreated and is cheap is going to be a challenge. So it takes a long time to, break through that fear or distrust or whatever. So but
I do feel like, and maybe other people have found different, but I do feel like for us, it's easier for us to get a mule that's been mistreated to like kind of get over all of that and be okay, versus a horse that's been mistreated. It's like horses have a harder time kind of like getting over that past, where mules, I feel like new person, new environment, new whatever, they're able to like heal a little bit quicker. So it's pretty interesting.
Because they're smarter.
It might be because they process stuff different, but it really, there's something there. Yeah.
I just said that to set people off in the comments. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I didn't answer. I would choose a mule, and it's actually really close between a mule or a Mustang. And I love my little Mesa Draft Cross. She is just chill, which is exactly what I like. She's big and powerful. So like nothing against like draft crosses, quarter horses, things like that. They can be amazing, but if I had to choose one to start with, I would choose a mule. And that's because I love being in the mountains. I love feeling safe in the mountains, and my Riata, I just trust her with my life all the time. Like no questions asked. She is awesome. And I would absolutely start with her.
I didn't tell him that my plan was to adopt a mare Mustang, then breed her and get a mule baby.
Yeah, genius. You're a step ahead. All right, next question, and then I'm gonna have to skip forward because I'm getting way behind on the chat here. Says, I watched The Clever Cowgirl and she found a Mustang auction type thing where you take on a Mustang and gentle it to be sold at a higher price. Would you consider doing that where you are? Good question, Rindy.
It's a good question. It's very similar to like the tip program. That one's like a separate deal, but probably not. And the reason is, like, maybe I would consider it, but I would rather go get a Mustang, adopt it personally, have it for at least the 1 year till it's titled, and then I have control over finding it a home, so I can, instead of it just being auctioned off to whoever, like I would be able to kind of handpick who it's sold to. And also you have that full year, you can really get it going well. I know it's going to like fit well into someone's, routine, even if maybe they don't have a ton of horse experience. I feel like I could get it gentle enough that it's not going to hurt anyone throughout that year. So I would rather do it that way than those kind of programs. But I think they're great. They're just trying to get out more Mustangs and kind of get them gentle for people who are maybe, just a little nervous about that process.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome program.
Yeah.
All right, I have a serious question. Let me know in the comments how many of you would be interested if Alyssa did do that. Adopt a Mustang, gentle it, get it ready to like haul, have its feet picked up, all that stuff. Not started under saddle, but just completely gentled. How many of you would be interested in potentially purchasing or adopting that Mustang? It's something we're seriously thinking of doing, and I'm curious if anyone would be interested in that.
Yeah, and also with that, like what age group? Because my thinking is something that's maybe yearling or so, and then that way it's going to be ready to start here soon. But I don't know, people might be interested with the older horse as well. A lot of the people that do that kind of thing with the older horses, they'll keep them for a few years, or at least a couple or a few years, depending, get them really well started and then rehome them. But I'm curious.
Yeah.
What age class?
Yeah.
If you are interested.
Next question. What traits do you look for in a good mule? Ladies first.
Big ears. Traits I look for in a mule. Gosh. Well,
do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I would say this is the opposite of what we did with Riata. But I would say that they're trusting of people, because that's a huge barrier. If they're afraid of people, it's going to take a lot of time just to build that foundation of trust back. So you can kind of tell, like, as you walk up to them, are they like scared and backing away, or are they like, oh, hey, you're probably coming to give me scratches? And if it's the latter, then it's going to be a lot easier to start working with them sooner.
And some good mules are kind of standoffish. I feel like mules are a little more standoffish about new people than a lot of horses are. But they'll, once they warm up to you, then they're like, oh, you're total buddy, but sometimes they can be a little bit watchy about new people. Guilty until proven innocent in their brain, I guess.
Yeah,
so
kind of. Some of them.
But yeah, I mean, kind of all the same things as horses, right? Like, are they sound? Do they have good conformation? Is it the right height? Like all that stuff. But other than that, like, are they soft? Like, or do they have a ton of brace already built into them? Because mules can get bracey pretty easy if they're handled the wrong way. So that would be something to look out for. And if you're riding alone, or if you want to be able to ride apart, like, are they really herd bound? Mules tend to get really herd bound to usually horses. And a lot of people want that if they're up in the mountains, because then they stay around their horse at camp or whatever. But, just things like that to pay attention to, just like a horse. So.
All right. I've been trying to read for questions here, and I got sidetracked by one from Peach Farms. It says, did something happen to Jason's lip on the right side? I'm sorry if I have not noticed before, or if you've already answered this. Great to see you guys in real time. Great to see you too. And no, so my lip, I don't know, I think it's this side. my doggone mustache, it has like a weird little cowlick where it like splits, and no one has brought it up until now. So thanks a lot.
It's really funny when it grows really long and it's like clear down here, and all you can see is the 2 front teeth.
But I got distracted by that one, so that's not horsemanship related, but that's just pointing out my insecurities. Okay, next question. Do people ever come by unannounced to meet you? Thankfully only nice people so far.
Yeah.
But please don't, because we're not set up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, we usually try not to give out our location just because, I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, there's weirdos
There's a
out
lot
there
of
for
people
sure.
watching our stuff, so.
This is Idaho though, so you're allowed to carry defense around here. Let's see. Rooster Wrangler question. I'm starting my 2-year-old gypsy vanner. Is there any tips and tricks you would give a beginner for starting a colt, just in general?
Go to Ty Evans' colt starting clinic.
We've done enough ads for Ty, don't you guys think?
But seriously, that is awesome. Like, that is the coolest thing. If you should watch it, because it might give you a lot of ideas. Like, on his YouTube, it's free on his YouTube. You can watch the whole colt starting clinic. But seriously, you should watch it because you can kind of see the process that he takes them through, and I think that's awesome. Just do a ton of groundwork. Like, make sure that you've done all your homework, that there's no holes before you climb on. Because once you're on there, you're just going for a ride. So he does a lot of like fence work. You can look that up on like his channel and stuff, where you have the mule or the horse, sorry, in your case, the horse, step over to the fence, and you can do all kinds of stuff from up there, right? Like, you can throw a rope, you can put one foot leg over, your other leg still on the fence, and kind of get them used to that and see how you're feeling, see how they're feeling. So just like do your homework, do a ton of stuff, and don't rush the process. Like, there's no hurry, and yeah, keep yourself safe. Make sure your horse is feeling really confident and comfortable, and then go for it.
Yep. And I'm joking about advertisements for Ty, because the reason we constantly talk about TS Mules is because we're around them a lot. We fully trust in what they do. They're good people, and the colt starting clinic was actually amazing. I got to be there and film it this last year, and it made me so excited to start Mesa there in the summer of 2027. So definitely highly recommend. Do you ever think about getting a burro?
Yes.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, Alyssa always thinks about getting a burro. Says, I don't know much of anything about them, but another equine for the list. Why not?
Yeah, and if you guys have a burro and you want to watch a really cool channel, you should check out Training Wild Burros with Mary Jo. Is that her channel name? I'm pretty sure. We should add it.
Yeah.
So go check her out. Famous Seamus Farms.
Yep, that's their other channel.
Is their other channel. So anyway, go check them out. They have a ton of donkey content. So even if it's not a burro, if you guys have donkeys, she's awesome.
One retired cop says, I think mustaches with a swirl is manly. Thank you. Heck yeah, my guy. All right, let's see. Next question.
I think you should like wax it up. The little handlebar.
Yeah, I should train it. What I really want is to look like Sam Elliott back in the days of the Sackets. Well, actually, I think he had a beard in the Sackets, maybe. But Conager, there we go. Back Conager days. That's my goal in life. I don't think it's going to happen. I think my mustache is as good as it's going to get. It's kind of plateaued, but the guy can dream. So, next question. Let's see. I need to look something up here. What do people underestimate the most about owning equines? Like time, fencing, vet care, training, mental load.
All of that?
Well, yeah, but most. What do people underestimate the most?
Gosh, I think probably just the worry if your horse is dead. No, I'm kidding. Kind of.
I didn't hear what you said. I was reading.
Are they taking a nap or are they coliking? Constant stress in your life. If your life is stress-free and you want to add a little stress, get a horse.
No, you're supposed to be encouraging people to follow their dreams.
The most underrated. Probably time and money, both. I mean, horses do need a lot of care, and unless you like know how to trim feed or know how to shoe a horse, right? Like that's farrier needs to come out every 8 weeks or so. There's annual vet care, but then there's obviously emergency vet care. And then good feed is expensive, hay is expensive, all that stuff. So yeah, definitely make sure like financially you're ready for it, and if you kind of checked into it before you get a horse, because they're a big commitment. Like it's you get a 2-year-old horse, you could have it for another 30 plus years. So it's a huge commitment.
I agree. You can do a lot of the financial calculations ahead of time and budget in some vet bills, farrier costs, stuff like that. So you can plan for it a lot. For us, a big thing is the time. Like days like today, we work with them at least a little bit pretty much every day. But like days like today where Alyssa, like I said, was kind of sprinting to get as much done on this video as she could, and we don't work with them. It's kind of like a little bit disheartening and discouraging, and probably not everyone's like that, but the days that we don't spend a significant chunk of time working with them is a real bummer. So I don't know, if you're like us, make sure you have time scheduled in that you're working with them, because for one, it makes you feel happy. Like you can be stressed out and feeling down, or even just feeling tired and wore out, and then you go out and you just spend some time with the equines, and I swear every time it just like totally resets your mentality, and it is just really a boost.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works. Like I used to, when I was in South Dakota, it would be freezing cold, and I'd be like, oh, every day I need to go out and spend some time with my horse. And you bundle up, you put on your gloves, and you go out there, and it's just like so refreshing. That's
and then
the
it's
best
like
way.
3 hours later, and you're like, where did the time go?
Yeah.
It gets like sucked in.
Yeah. And it's just the most refreshing thing. Yeah. So all of those things that can be underestimated, like cost and time and stuff like that, it's absolutely worth it. And you can tell by looking out in our pen, because we got a bunch of them. Okay. Next question. Do people realize equines are prey animals and have to be handled as so, and not necessarily like a dog? That's a good question, because it is different. There's a lot of similarities, but it is definitely different. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think a lot of people that haven't dealt with horses definitely don't understand that, and so they're quick to like judge horsemanship when they really have no understanding of why people are doing what they're doing. So if you're like wanting to get into horses, it's definitely important to study how horses' brains work, and mules' brains work, and what they can and can't process, and how they react off of pressure. Like horses are prey animals, so they're either going to freeze, fight, or flee. And sometimes you have one that would rather fight, right? So that's going to be like aggressive, defensive behavior that can be extremely dangerous and very quick, right? Like they can strike and they can kick within an instant. So and then you have, most of the time with horses, it's going to be they're going to flee. And so that's when you have horses that bolt, or horses that take off or spook out of there or whatever, because that's what they've been programmed to do. They have to have a really quick they just have to react really quick, because in the wild, if there's a cougar up in the rocks and all of a sudden that thing comes running down and tries to pounce on him, if you're the last one to be standing around, you're lunch. So that's, they have to be programmed that way. And then you have donkeys, which tend to just freeze. And then you've got a mule that can kind of be either way, because they're half and half, but they don't end up usually being like half and half. Some mules are a little more like a horse, and they're going to be bolters more than, freezers. And then you got some mules that are the other way around. So like Riata is very donkey-like. If you push her too far, she'll just freeze up, and there's nothing you can do at that point. She's just kind of gone. She's kind of checked out, and so you really have to make sure you don't push her to that point.
You just call my mule a donkey?
She's a little bit donkey.
She is. She actually is. All right, next question. Koi Lin, hey, how's it going? Our friends who help us look for properties. Tell Larry hi. Says, I would like to trim my own horse's feet. how did you get started trimming? I'm nervous about messing up their balance. And this is 100% for Alyssa, but I'll start by saying I am so scared. Like, I would love to trim ours, but I am like paralyzed in fear because I don't want to mess it up and then make them stiff or sore or have some like bad outcome down the line because I'm trimming them slightly wrong. So I feel you, and that's an excellent question. So over to Alyssa, who does our trimming.
If you have a farrier that's willing to teach you, that's an awesome way to start. I mean, you can go to like a actual farrier school if you want to pay that money and go for that course, then that's great. I would be careful watching YouTube stuff. Some of it's great, some of it maybe isn't great. But if you have a farrier that can teach you in person, that's like the best way. So I've had farriers that are kind enough to like give me lessons throughout my life. And I am very careful. Like usually I leave them maybe a little long. I don't really mess with the sole very much. Like I'm not aggressive when I'm trimming. So like I leave a nice big frog on there. Anyway, I'm very careful. I end up doing trims more frequently, but taking less because I just don't want to be too aggressive. So that's the way I approach it. Then I have farriers check up on my work when I can, and they'll either be like, yeah, this looks great, or this is what I would change, or like whatever. And so that helps a lot. So that's how I did it. And you just get better. Like you just get better with time. But
yeah,
because at first it's awkward, and don't be too critical of yourself. But
yeah, I think along with the don't be too critical is they're not as fragile as people like me think. It's like there's thousands and thousands of wild horses that are never trimmed and they kind of wear somewhat naturally, but I guarantee their hooves aren't completely planed out and like looking all good like we think they need to look, and they do just fine. So and I'll add Bush Pony Beth says, I'm a natural hoof farrier. Pete Ramey has excellent learning material. So
awesome.
Thank you for throwing that in there in the chat. Next question. Oh, Jesse Baisden asked kind of the same thing. Do you do all your complete farrier work? Nope, just trimming.
Yeah, just no shoes. I have someone come over when I need to have fronts put on Clyde.
This person, JDP 5485, back to like the things that we underestimate as horse owners, says that's true though. Are they walking weird? Are they coming up lame? Did I wet their food enough? Are they going to choke? I hope they don't kick a fence board down. All valid.
Clyde has gas collect a couple times, and I do not sleep for like 3 days after. I'm constantly like, I'll wake up at like midnight, but like I gotta go check on Clyde. He knows. Yeah, it's constant stress.
Yeah, it is. Especially if you're a natural worrier. They give you a lot to worry about.
Which I'm not, thankfully.
This one, I'm glad you re-asked because I missed it the first time. Jill Breeze says, question, what do you think about the Salmon mule sale? So the Salmon Idaho mule sale is really fun to watch, and there are definitely some good mules there. I would also take someone who knows what they're looking at, or if you know what you're looking at, then you're good to go. But I would definitely, they don't do vet checks. They don't do age checks. So it opens up the door for some dishonesty for sure.
I would get there early. If I were going to go buy one from there, I would get there like a day or two early and watch what people are doing around the place with their mules ahead of time.
Yep.
And just proceed with caution.
Yep. They do have some fun stuff. Like they have a little round pen, like show off your mule thing. They have a mounted shooting competition. So they do a lot of fun stuff, and it's worth going if you're in the area for sure. But it's just not quite as well vetted as one like Chrome in the Canyon or probably Jay Clark.
And there's a lot of good sellers there, but some, just like any sale, you just gotta be careful.
Okay, let's see. Do you have a favorite horse or mule? I'll let you go first. That's going to be tough. I don't even know who you're going to say.
Well, my favorite mule is Clyde.
Oh, you copped out. You took the easy route.
And my favorite horse is Rooster.
I thought you were going to pick one. I was like, I don't know what she's going to choose. I didn't know where that was going.
Josie's a close thing. Ariata, I don't know. I love our mules. They're just awesome.
They're like our family. So it literally feels a little bit like asking someone to pick your favorite kid. Yeah. My parents would obviously say me, but most parents have a hard time choosing.
Yeah.
And I would say Riata, I can't imagine, like even compared to Mesa, I absolutely love Mesa. But Riata is just the one. Like her starting off so fearful and then coming to be so trusting of me and now Alyssa, and just so willing to climb hills and work hard and go out of her comfort zone, just because I'm asking her to. It's like Riata will always have a special place in my heart for sure. So good question. Yeah, Peach Farms, thanks. Says everyone hit the like button. Thank you. Okay, next question. Oh, here, I almost missed one. The BLM just added horses to the website a few hours ago. Oh gosh, Alyssa's like, I need to log out. All right.
Be right back.
Yeah. The BLM just added horses to the website a few hours ago, and there's some really nice tall geldings. Would you consider any of them since pickup will be in Idaho? Good question, Alyssa. Hey, good name too.
Maybe. I'll have to look.
Yeah. It's so fun to look, but it's like the most tormenting thing because we just know if we had like our next property, for those that don't know, we're looking for a bigger property. We would be so rolling with this like gentling and rehoming thing that we want to do. But we're not there yet. And so looking is really fun and really exciting and then really disappointing in the end. It's kind of how it goes.
And we've been offering on places and stuff. So I mean, we're like very actively trying to find another property. This is not the best time of year to find one. We're hoping something perfect will come on the market. Not perfect, but something that is good for us.
Perfect enough.
Yeah, exactly. This summer, but we'll see. It's, discouraging looking at properties right now. But
it is fun looking at the horses, and I'm actually excited to look now that you said that, especially since there's some nice big ones. That's always fun to look and dream.
Yeah, it really is.
Excuse me.
It's a lot of fun. I always like to try to pick out which one I think is going to go for the most money, and usually we're close.
Alyssa has expensive taste.
Yeah. When it comes to horses, anyway.
Yeah.
As I say here, an old sweatshirt.
Old grungy sweatshirt. Hey, thank you. Someone just gave us super thanks. It looks like it was Jesse. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next question.
She wants me to buy a Mustang.
Is that what that's for, Jesse?
I'm
thanks a lot.
100% sure.
She's feeding the fire over here. All right, next question. Would you say an average of $300 to $500 per month is a fair guess per horse for average expenses? We broke it down in that video,
I don't remember. It was not a number I wanted to look at. We added up like how much we spent yearly and then divided it, and it was a lot. I think we spent over $500 a year just on stuff like grain.
I wish I could remember exactly. That's a number. Maybe there's probably someone in the chat who knows what they spend on their horse for a year worth of, let's just say even a year worth of feed. So if you want, drop it in the comments or in the chat, because that'd be really good information. That feels low, that $300 to $500 a month, but
I think we spend close to $150 a month just on basically like their grain. So they get like rice bran, ration balancer, and the babies get some like full growth grain. And just for that, it's creeping up there towards $150, and that's not hay or anything else. So.
And that's not 100% necessary. We like ours to be as healthy as possible, obviously, but it's like a lot of horses and especially mules do extremely well just on like decent hay. So that's something to think about.
We just supplement with that in the wintertime mostly.
Yep. All right, Jimmy, New Mexico elk hunter. Oh, your comment just disappeared. There we go. How's it going down there in New Mexico?
Hopefully your weather's good down there.
Yeah. It says, what extra precautions, including food, supplements, etc., do you take in very cold weather to ensure your equines stay warm and healthy? Good question. Speaking of hay.
Yeah. So most of the time I just give them a crud ton of extra grass hay.
Yep.
So that like fermentation in their hindgut, the hindgut, the breaking down of all that extra like fiber is actually keeps them warm. So the only time I've ever like I don't know felt really bad for our equines is when it like rains and it's cold. Like that's when it gets scary. But like with our snow, it is so dry here. We hardly get any precipitation every year. So like the snow, you'll go out in the morning, even when it's frosty or has snowed, they'll have snow sitting up on their like the top of their coat. And that's because it's a huge insulation. So they're so insulated they're not even melting that snow on top. But yeah, so we give them a ton of extra hay. And then if it's really snowy and stuff, we'll put down pine shavings for them to give them someplace warm and dry to lay down, so they don't have to lay down in the snow.
Yeah, good question. To expand on that just a teeny bit, we feed like really high quality grass alfalfa mix is our main feed.
Yeah.
And then we also buy some lower cost, like not moldy, but just straight grass hay that is maybe a little bit drier. And then we'll just give them that extra straight grass hay when it's cold and kind of let them have all you can eat of the grass.
Yeah, it's just first cutting grass hay. It's good grass hay. They sometimes actually eat that over the alfalfa mix, and then we have tank heaters in all of our water troughs. So I like to make sure they have plenty of salt because you got to keep them drinking in the winter. So plenty of salt, and then the water troughs are always thawed because they have the tank heaters in them. So.
Let's see. This isn't a question, but says at age of 58, I left my 30-year clinical practice in Seattle. Got a job doing what my 7-year-old self always dreamt of. Reinvention is awesome. Tetons and Jedediah were my playground. Do it. And that is awesome. Congratulations. I'm like YOLO became a thing a few years back and it kind of became like ridiculous, but it's so true. You like do only have one life and do it responsibly, but also do things that you enjoy with the people that you enjoy. That is such a great point. Question. We're getting a ranch horse and he's not been under saddle for a long time. I was wondering to be able to get him back into the saddle work. What should I start to get him back into it?
I would just start over like he knows nothing and just make sure, that there's not any holes. So start on your groundwork. He might fly through it. He might do really well. Then go ahead and saddle him and, but just don't assume that he knows stuff. Don't assume that everything's going to be good. So just start over and one step at a time. And then, you should be good to go. And I would do the same under saddle. One step at a time, start him in a smaller pen or a round corral, get a few rides on there, make sure he's feeling okay, and then go from there.
Yeah. Someone says it's so awesome how proud I always am of Riata. She's the best. I love her. Andrea says, what do you think of Chrome in the Canyon mule sale? Any advice for a first-time buyer? What to look for? Great trainers there that you recommend bidding on their mules. So we've talked a little bit on this video about Chrome in the Canyon, but it's worth talking a little deeper about because it is great for a first-time buyer. I met a really nice lady there last year, and her name is slipping in my memory, but she bought her first mule there. I got to talk to her and her husband. And what was it? Lori? Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, she was awesome. So I met her and her husband there, and she bought her first mule ever down there at Chrome in the Canyon last year, and she is so happy with it. She sent us pictures on our email and stuff, and that just makes me the happiest. So to dive into the second part of your question there, any advice for a first-time buyer? No, just go and dive into everything they have to offer there. Everything from, they call it the sift, which is like a little trial that all the trainers have to go through with their horses, to the try before you buy, watch the trail course, and you'll get a feel for every mule there. They have them all lined out like all sales do, but you can walk through and you can really get a feel for them in their pens. You can even like pet them and stuff. So just go soak it all in, pay attention, take little notes on your little program and just have fun. And bring your checkbook, because some of them are very expensive. Some of them are pretty reasonable. So one sold for $90,000 there last year. It was a rare curly mule. We have a video about that a lot of you guys have probably already seen.
Yeah.
Are there any great trainers there that you recommend bidding on their mules? That's a good question. I'm afraid I'll forget some. There's a lot of good trainers there that are there every year.
It always seems like the Petersons have really good mules, Peterson Mule Company.
Yeah, there's a couple Petersons there. So it's Sean and Nellie. Maybe the other one's good too. I don't know. But Sean and Nellie Peterson are who we're talking about.
And that's what they do full time. They put a lot of time into their mules. They get them like actually really well started and going. So I don't think I've heard anyone who's bought one of their mules that has like regretted it.
No.
So and then the Sallies have some really nice really nice mules from Black Mountain Outfitters. I'm pretty sure is what their outfitting company is. Yeah. And they use them, like they'll buy mules, use them for a few years and then resell them. That's part of their business model. They're outfitters. But so you get mules that have, been out there, they've packed, they've done all that kind of stuff. They've had a lot of trail miles, they've been used and stuff. So a lot of their mules are pretty good too.
Oh, Lesh, Loesch is another good one. And
Lesh or Loesch?
I don't know. It might be Loesch. Jigs is what he goes by. Jigs. Maybe it's Loesch. I don't know. I haven't had sugar in 8 days, so you're lucky I'm even conscious right now. All right. But anyway.
Especially if you saw how much sugar you put in this coffee before these 8 days.
Yeah.
And then to go like no sugar is a lot for him. So.
Got that diabetes. No, I don't really, thankfully, but I was on the road. But no, so Jigs Loesch, I don't know if he'll be there again this year, but I assume he will. He and the Amish guy, who I can't remember his name, they come and the Amish dude rides them, but they're super well cared for mules. So that's another one I would keep an eye on if you're going to Chrome in the Canyon. And I'm sure we're missing some.
Yeah, there's probably a lot more that we just don't know.
So many good ones. Yeah, so don't take us not saying a name as
Mahoney Mule Company always sells mules for a lot of money. Don't know if that means anything, but he seems to have a good reputation. We've never spoke to him personally, but seems like he has really well-trained mules anyway.
Yeah. So don't take us not mentioning someone as them not being reputable, because there's a ton that we don't know. Yeah. We're far from experts in pretty much everything we do. CC says they have the most beautiful sorrel on the buy it now.
Do they?
Yeah. We're excited to look, CC.
Sorrel.
Yeah.
I'll have to look.
Those ones with flax and mane and tail, man, that's what Alyssa's all about. What do you use for greasing your trailer hitch? There's a tactical question. I don't know. I just bought a thing that says grease.
I don't know what kind of grease. It's made for it. So that's what we have a little can of it and I just Yep. But I have a deep fear of twisting a ball off, and so I am very stickler about greasing it because I've seen that happen and it's really terrifying.
Yeah, that would be awful. I
also have a fear of your jack failing and your trailer falling on your head. And that actually happened to a girl that I knew. So
new fear unlocked.
Yeah. I also have a fear someone might be hiding in my shower when Jason's not home. So I always have to check before I go to bed.
That's why we got dogs. Someone says, any other fears you want to share?
So there's my irrational fears.
Okay.
I do have my dog storm the house before I go to bed if I'm alone.
Just interrupt me if you think of any more fears, all right?
Just in case someone's hiding. I don't know what I would do if someone was hiding, but at least I would know they're there.
Okay. Back to the horses. Do you shoe your Mustang or leave him barefoot?
He's barefoot for now.
I could see.
Stay barefoot.
Yeah, I could see Rooster staying barefoot. I'm sure a lot of them need shoes, and Rooster may end up needing shoes.
Yeah, if we go on really rocky stuff, there's a chance.
He's got some hard hooves, though.
Very hard. Yes, it's a workout to trim him for sure.
We are going so long. We need to wrap this up, otherwise you guys are going to be bored to death. People will be falling asleep. Let's do two more questions here. Here's one. Hard luck. Oh, Larry's on here. Nice. Larry says his wife is looking now at the horses. You're welcome, Larry. All right. They did away with the adoption incentive money. did they stop the tip program as well?
I think the tip program's still going. I don't know, actually. I haven't looked into it lately. But yeah, the incentive money, they quit it right after I adopted Rooster, so I do not get any incentive money for Rooster, which is fine, but it's kind of a bummer.
I do have a little uninformed thought on that. It is a bummer that they quit that. I heard it was because of lawsuits from some big sanctuaries, and I disagree with the reasoning. I mean, if $1,000 is going to make or break you, then maybe you shouldn't be adopting a horse. But for people like me and Alyssa, that $1,000 that we would be about to get for adopting and working with Rooster and buying all this feed and grain and stuff that we're talking about, it would be a huge blessing. So it's like, I'm so bummed and frustrated that some of these big sanctuaries wanted to cancel that because I disagree with their way of thinking. That would be a big blessing to people like us, and people like us who are adopting these horses and, I don't know, treating them well. So anyways, that's my uninformed opinion. There's probably a lot more to it than I know, but good question. Hard luck. I
did see that they did, in fact, cancel the Mustang challenge there in Las Vegas due to funding. So that's a bummer.
Oh, here's a good nugget. Thank you, Coy. Or Coylin. I don't remember what you go by, but says, hey, 1,200 per year per horse. So that's a good number. And that's in hay country, where there's hay close by. So that's not like Arizona or something like that. At least I don't think. Anyways, next question. What's your guys' opinion on total feeds? Ever thought of trying it?
Total feeds. I feel like we have fed total feeds before.
I don't know. I don't remember feeding it. I just remember the commercials on the NFR.
Most of the stuff I get right now is from Buckeye Nutrition or Unbeatable. So that's what we feed right now.
Yes. Okay, last question. And before this last question, I want to say thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, we'll be going outside live with the herd a lot more as the days get longer and we continue to get more and more caught up. So we might even I bought a gimbal for my phone, and I really want to try a live ride. Where like we go out and we take Clyde and Brianna, where we have good service, and do a live Q&A ride. I think that would be really fun.
That'd be really cool. We might have to try it, and it might turn out horribly, and so we're going to apologize in advance. But we might try it, and maybe the feed's too bad, and we'll have to end it.
That's true.
But we could try it.
Yeah, it would be great if it would work. Do a little live Q&A ride.
That'd be really fun.
Hey, Kevin Ackerman's here. Hello, Kevin. Says he'll watch later. He just hopped on here, so thanks for joining.
Hopefully see you.
Last question from Big Tex Vet. Who do I have to get on to for letting you say that the BLM has new horses up? Like, I think I read that wrong. Who do I have to get on to for letting you say that the BLM has new horses up? Now my old lady is looking, and I can feel the wallet get lighter. Well, that was I don't remember who that was in here, but now it's a thing, and now all of our wives are looking at Big Tex Vet, and we're all in trouble. So thanks whoever started that. Good question. All right, awesome. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. I hope you guys have the best week ever. And if you have horsemanship questions specifically, TS Mules will be live on the TS Mules YouTube channel tomorrow. So bring them. We'll be there in the chat. You guys have a great night.
See ya.